So yeah, just so you know that. So tell me, my loves, the magnetism code, we're about to unleash it on you. You're about to receive something that's taken me 10 years, $1 million, deep dive, blood, sweat, and tears of my own journey to come and create and live, give to you this beautiful gift that I'm about to give. But why are you here? Why did your soul bring you here? What do you want to receive out of it? Let's check in because this is going to be a real dance together. This is going to be me co-creating this with you. I never just have a thing that I just speak at you and you just take it in passively. Like this is a real active process. And whatever I'm going to bring to you, I'm going to give it, fully, wholeheartedly and yeah, I just want it to be something relevant to you and I'm going to tweak it for you as a cohort as well as a group. So I would love to hear. So anyone want to unmute? I know some of you are popping it in and I'll read that. But if anyone feels it'd be easy to unmute, you'd prefer to unmute, unmute and share as well. Why are you here? What's your soul want? That's Philippa and Melissa. Hi, Philippa and Melissa. If you guys want to unmute, it might be hard to go, hey, Philippa. Blah, 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 blah."
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Miranda. I'm
Hey,
Philippa.
nice to see you.
Um, Thank you so much for having us. I hope you don't mind my housemate Melissa's joined in for
No,
this.
the more the merrier. Beautiful.
We're in Bali, so it's 7 a.m. here.
Oh,
We've
good
got
job.
coffee.
Well done. Good work. Good
So
commitment.
what brought me here today, I guess, I've kind of been like floundering a lot with my business, and I think it's really about being able to hold more my ability to be seen, to be I I don't think it's really about manifesting the abundance so much, but my ability to receive, my ability of worthiness, to be
Mm,
seen, to expand, to move into a next
mm,
level. I seem to
mm.
have this threshold where it just stays. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I was hoping to expand and maybe tap into some things that have been blocking me that haven't been so obvious.
Yeah, beautiful, hun. Who else has felt like there's an upper limit or, you hit something on abundance or visibility and you're like, okay. Who's anyone else felt that? Yeah. Yeah. Super common. I've had it as well, hun. And exactly what we're going to go into today is going to support with that as well. So love that. Thanks for that. And it's good, like visibility was a bit of a theme when I did the tour and things as well. And so, I'm going to bring even more of that today as well. So thank you for telling me too, hun. And how about you, Melissa?
Thanks for letting me be here and thanks for offering this.
So good.
Um, I think for me, I've noticed that abundance seems to be directly like tied into self-sacrifice and like deeply depleting myself. And like yeah, and I've been trying to decouple them and it's something is moving in that space, but that's one of the things that really attracted me to this.
Mm, yeah.
Quality of ease and I think similarly, or no, in a slightly different vein. So there's a lot of abundance flowing in my life in every domain except financial.
Mm. And
So
this is the beautiful thing, right? Abundance is of life and of our vitality and of our love. And like, it's all the things. But
yeah,
a lot of the time there is these programs and this way that we can be brought up that we have to have love or money or this or that or it's we're brought up to think that it has to be or the sacrifice. I can have business or financial, but then I've got to sacrifice my love and friendship and time out. There's this constant feeling of that. We can't have it all, and today we're going to look at that as well. And what's the secret to that?
nice,
So I love that. And
beautiful.
financial, like we're going to focus in on, abundance from a business money perspective because that's how I help women unlock a whole lot. But the same process of what I'm going to share with you has been the thing that's unlocked me in abundance of all things as well. So it's exactly the same, but we just got to apply it to the different areas. So amazing. Thanks for dropping us in. Does anyone else, thanks, my loves, did anyone else want to share verbally if they can't write, they'd rather speak? Our voice has a lot of power, and that was super powerful to drop in. Connie, Abby, Joe, Tracy.
I really Miranda.
Yeah, your internet's
Abby, can you hear me?
it's okay. Yeah, your internet we can just hear you, I think.
Sorry, everyone. I've had to hit the road this morning to pick up one of my kids. We've got like a two and a
You're
half, 3 hour drive.
Yeah.
So a bit
Drama.
unexpected.
All good. Well done for being here still, hun.
Um, yeah, so I spend a lot of time with my own clients now and in programs, and I'm finding that I need to bring the focus back to myself and my journey and my next level. And I've had a pretty good month, so things are starting to shift for me. I've been doing a lot of work, but just finding that I just need that next level, need that inner belief and confidence as well
Yeah.
that I can do anything because I know there's a big part of me that already knows that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just really stepping into that and just being in your presence, Miranda, and of the group as well. So yeah, just energetically just leveling up basically. That's what I feel like
Beautiful.
today is. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks, hun.
Thank
And
you.
well done, doing all of this with, getting the kids and all the things. But I guess there seems like a similar theme there in like, okay, yeah, the business may thrive or things, but then yeah, I miss out on time with me. Or like I go to the kids and it's like again, this thing that we can't be necessarily full our true nature and purpose or live life exactly the way we want and then have this. And we know that if we're not thriving as a whole being, then our business and life and like love in other areas can't thrive, right? But again, there's a bit of a theme of sacrifice or feeling of that, or like the balancing act and things too. So, yeah, thanks, Abby. And the next level piece is a big one as well. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to read out what else you guys have here. If anyone else wants to unmute, you can as well in a moment. But to stop overworking for life to be a never-ending journey of fun, ease, playfulness. Love that. So love that, hun. Great to hear. And that's going to be a big part of what we're going to bring today as well. Business to the next level. So the next level piece. Unlock the blockages held in your hips as it slowed abundance. Step into life you're meant to live. You're in Sydney. Awesome. Nice to have you here, my love. Um, there is a lot, tied into our wombs in that space as well, and blockages in different parts of our life, different areas. So, yeah, I love that you see where that is, hun, as well. And we're going to be able to open that and clear that a lot more today. Refresh from the live. Great, Joe. Good to see you again. More joy and ease. Oh, you did well writing as well, Abby. Well done. But yeah, next levels of peace. Beautiful. So I think there's a bit of a theme of like, how do we break through those blockages, break through the barriers, and really step up to that next level in our visibility, in our abundance, in just our love of life? Does that sound pretty what you guys would love? Yeah? Blocks in the business, attract higher, and yeah, awesome. Great. So let's go for it. Let's get into today because that's exactly what I want to bring to you. And I just wanted to, check that that was totally as relevant as what you wanted as well. So, in terms of just the setup for today and how we're going to play this, because we have, 2 hours together, it's on Zoom. I know you're looking at a computer, you're sitting down. We are going to move and different things as well to keep your energy up. But the biggest thing I would love to say is number one, I value, truth incredibly highly. Truth, love, and wisdom are my three highest values, and they're the values of alchemy and how alchemy works. And I'll explain more of that later. So I'm going to be really raw and honest and truthful with you. And I would love it if you feel, really safe to bring your full truth and rawness as well, because we can only transform and grow when that is occurring and that is happening. So are you guys able to like commit to me that, we can hold a space of truth? And with that, this is a confidential space. We're not going to leave and go, oh yeah, Melissa said this and this girl said that and there and whatever. Like we're just this is our sacred space together. Yeah? You guys good to commit to that? Beautiful. And the other piece as well is I want this to be somewhere where you play full out. This isn't just a watch fest of like, let's see Miranda like do Dance Monkey, perform and we'll just sit there and watch. This is a you fully in, you fully participating, your energy all in because my energy and my level of what I can channel to you and the wisdom you can grasp and the energetic that you can receive from me because it's beyond the words. It's the lineage of work I've done as well that you're connecting to. It's dependent upon the reciprocity and the openness of our energy swirling together, the circular swirl. So this isn't a just watch and bystand, like this is a energy all in, presence in, because that will build this cauldron together. As soon as any of us are sort of leaning out or we're just like, nah, I'm just going to watch and not really engage or that starts to leak the energy. And I want to give you all of me today, and I want all of us to receive, and even now, how do you feel is the power of just your shares and just this build of energy already beginning? Does anyone feel it? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like I'm hot already. That tells me that like we're all in and this is going to build together, and that's what I want to feel. I don't want to feel that sense of, when you're watching something, it's like, ugh, it's draining, this is boring, like, ugh. That's because the energy is being sucked out of this, and I don't want that for any of us. I want us, if we're going to hear, we got 2 hours together. Our time is precious. We're never going to get these 2 hours back. And I want this to be the best 2 hours, the most transformative time for you. And that's dependent on all of us engaging and being in. So, are you guys all good to be all in today, right now as well? Yeah? Amazing. And if people aren't on the camera, if you can just say yes, that would be awesome in the chat. Okay, so I think that's the main pieces of what I want to share with you in terms of the actual agreements, what I would love. Um, we will have like a mini break, that sort of thing, just if you need a toilet or whatever. You just monitor your own energy as well if you need to stand up or like whatever you're needing to keep that energy up as well. But you're self-responsible in that way. Cool. But if there's any questions in throughout the time, or you need anything, or like, just pop it in the chat as you're going as well. And we'll get to it as soon as we can. So that's the main pieces. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about why you're here, or what is it that we're going to be speaking about, a little bit of an intro of that, and then I'm going to go into a bit of a story as well. But to me, magnetism and this field of magnetism is about ease and flow. If we have a magnet here and there's a magnetic field to these objects, and they're playing in a magnetic field, which means there's a coherence here, there's an alignment here. They are, when they're getting even just closer in the proximity of something, boom, there's a natural attraction that occurs. I don't even have to push it together. I don't have to do much. I just have to be in the vicinity of it, and it just naturally comes to us. Abundance, love, business, finances, like whatever it is, right? When we know the laws that dictate magnetism and we know how to become a magnetic being, all that we desire is as easeful as that. And I want you from this to have that next level of your life, to have that next level of your business and abundance, to have that next level of love, health, vitality, all the things. I want this to be your reality. And that is what I'm going to explain this today. That's what I'm going to unpack for you. And I'm going to help you see how I learned how to do this in every area of my life, where for 33 years before knowing this and learning this, everything I did was like this. It was repulsion. No matter how hard I tried, no matter what I did, no matter what I tried, strategy wise, business wise, coaches wise, it didn't matter what it was, love, life, health. See, I am literally, I don't know if you can see, but I'm trying everything I can to push these together. Nothing is working. Nothing I do, nothing I try, no matter how hard, how much force, how much money, it's not going to bring these together because there is a law of repulsion. And if we don't understand magnetism and how to work it, we will often repel the exact thing we want, and we will attract what we don't want. Thanks, Connie. Or we will be like dead wood, and it will be flat and it will be heavy, and we'll have to work hard and we'll have to hustle and we'll have to fight life and we'll have to bang things together. And there is no support. There's no universe. There's nothing helping us. We're just going to push and force and do all the things, right? Who has felt like they've experienced repulsion towards what they want? Who has felt they've tried no matter what to push, and whatever they're wanting, the exact opposite's happening, or say, yeah, repulsion, or you felt like there's a flatness. You felt like it's just you has hustle, heavy, hard work, sacrifice, you know, no matter what. Look at your life and have a look, because I'm going to share with you a bit of my journey, because that's what a big part of my journey was, right? It was really feeling a whole lot of that. And now I'm at different times I'm going to share my screen for you to see little images and pieces as well. So I'm just going to share this with you. But before I do, actually, like, I want you to actually think of like these times in your life you felt like there's been repulsion or there's been flatness. where you've just had to hustle and do heavy stuff and sacrifice everything, and it's just hard work, whether it's trying to be in your business and get money or it's love life or whatever it is. I just want you to tune in and look at what has the impact been when you've just been in repulsion. No matter how hard you go, you create the opposite of what you want, or no matter how hard you go, it's just heavy, tough, and it's hard to sustain. It's hard to keep going. Like, what's the impact and the cost of that? Start to think and even put in the chat, like, what does that cost you? What is the damage? What's the, it is sacrifice, it is exhaustion, it is even misalignment and perhaps, yeah, unstable income, inconsistency. Like it's so hard to sustain that, right? And it could even be that it's misaligned. I don't know about you, but for me, even when I started to make some movement in my business or things, because it wasn't coming from my true heart of myself and I was just copying what a coach told me or being dictated by something, it was misaligned. It wasn't even what I wanted, right? Yeah, disconnected, burnout, sometimes in, sometimes out. Sometimes I attract, sometimes, I don't. And there's a feeling of powerlessness and hopelessness of like, how on earth can I not, I can't sustain this, can't continue this. And I don't get it. I don't get the game of life. It's not a game, it's flipping hard work and I'm not understanding it and it's not working. Frustrating, hurtful, like, yeah, income be up and down. That's right. I want you to really look at and then look at as well, what would open up and happen to you if you knew how to magnetize all you desired every single time. If you knew how to magnetize abundance and love and health and vitality in your every single dream that you have, to me, success is you being your true self and your dreams being real, your dreams being reality. The visions in you, and this is what manifesting is, it's the visions in you becoming a physical reality. Imagine every time you had a vision or you had a dream or you had something inside of you, you want to run a retreat, you want to have 10 new clients come into this amazing program and change their life. You want to draw in your soulmate union, whatever it is, your most beautiful health and exuberant energy. Imagine everything you wanted, everything that was true to you and in your heart, bang. There's no stuckness, there's just flow and boom, you create it. You sort of decide, you step towards it, and boom, boom, boom. Imagine that. What would that feel like? What would that open up for you? Put it in the chat or unmute. Tell me. Everything out of alignment, not living in my purpose, redirection. Yeah, it'd be amazing. Free, love. You can unmute. Yeah, go, Philippa and Melissa.
Would love to share via voice. I realized it would like I feel my mind really opening, like things in the brain are actually shifting because I've been
Possibility.
operating in one way. And like if it's like if I knew everything that I wanted would be possible, I'd get quite creative.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be so limited in my thinking
yeah.
and
It's
forward. I'd be like
the
branching.
world's the oyster, right? You could like you just vision it and you're like, I don't know how, but I'm gonna go towards it and boom, look.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to live at this beach, I want to do all this stuff. I thought it was gonna be a 5, 10 year wait long thing. Boom, I created it in a couple of months from the second I decide. I don't know how it's gonna happen. I think I want to have a chef, I want to have a house manager. I think I've got to be multi-millionaire for that to happen till I have my butler or whatever. No, I figure it out, I create it just the second I start to dream of it. We
Mm.
start to just dream and vision. I just saw the Michael Jackson movie. His dream and his vision was huge. Like, he saw himself and look what he created, because he had these visions. He was just this kid who was in like poverty in, America. Like every kid would have dreamed, but he kept going and his dreams and visions were exuberant and they were crazy and they were outlandish, but he created it, right? What
Nice.
could we
Yeah.
do? Most of the time we don't even know what we want to because we don't want to be disappointed. We don't want to be hurt. We don't want to dream. Yeah. I wouldn't feel trapped. I'd feel free, not a cage, an amazing life. Yes. Spiritual upgrade, inner peace, experiencing severe insomnia. That's going to take a toll on your vitality, right? Every single thing. And it wouldn't be, oh, I can just have it in all these parts, but not in my business and financially. It would be everything, every part of your life. It's like every part of your life touches gold, right? So I just want to share like my journey with this and why I care so much about this and why I'm sharing this with you because for me this has been my whole journey, right? So I'm gonna just make you guys a little smaller. Hang on a second. Here we go. Okay, so when I was for 33 years of my life, I was obsessed with success and potential and limitlessness, right? I really wanted to figure out how to like live this exuberant life, how to have these dreams and these visions. I decided I wanted to be a coach when I was 15 and I was obsessed with psychology and I studied it for 8 years and I wanted to be a PT and a health coach and like I just wanted to be this holistic. How does this human become their limitless potential? How do we succeed and have these dreams and visions? Like this was my obsession from when I was very young, right? So I then go, okay, well, how? Okay, I've got to study psychology. I've got to figure out life. I've got to force and beat life into my, reality that I want. I'm thinking like I've got to work hard. I've got to figure out how to become this limitless thing. So I go and I try and run away from my childhood. I try and run away from my past. I try and, create healing and freedom and all these things. And then when I'm 30 years old, I think, wow, I finally found it. I've studied, psychology and counseling, and I've been in well-being for years, and I've been in HR, and I've been in, organizations and schools, and I was, speaking to thousands of kids and teachers, and, I was like, I figured it out finally. I'm turning 30. I was pregnant with my son, and I'm like, I've worked out life. And I've figured out how to do success limitlessness. So I'm going to go teach it now. I'm going to start my coaching business and I'm going to go bring it out to the world. I had my husband that, we were together for 10 years. I was having my baby. I had a great job. I was getting paid well. I was speaking in front of thousands of people. I was like, yes, okay, I'm going to be this big motivational speaker. I'm going to bring success out in the world, limitless potential out to the world. Now, within a month, my husband started changing, and I actually found out that he was cheating on me. And I had to face off with ending our marriage, before I was even birthing my child because we couldn't work through it. We couldn't work through these issues. So I had to get over a husband I loved for 10 years and my best friend. And I had to get over that breakup. And it was heartbreaking. It was heart-wrenching. I was suicidal and I was depressed. And then I had to work out how to have a baby by myself. And I was miserable this time that was meant to be the most beautiful time in all of my life. I was sitting there in this mirror in absolute agony and misery about how on earth I was going to bring this child into this world with this wreckage, this damage, this pain. And I felt like a zombie. I felt like there was no energy inside of me. I felt like everything I'd hoped for, everything I believed in, everything I'd worked so hard for, that I'd figured out life in and success, I felt I was a failure. I felt like I was a failure coach. I felt like no one would want to come to me. Who would want to come to me? What life success have I worked out? I felt like I've learned nothing because everything I put value on, everything I thought I was worthy of, having a husband and having this child and his family, like having a job, the job was going because I was on mat leave. I had no ability to make a business and money because I had no energy and I was just so depressed. And so even my money, the bank account, work, all these things I used to put my worth on just smashed into smithereens. I thought, who is wanting to listen to me? I have not figured out life. I've figured out how to fail. I've figured out not just, how to just work hard and hustle and get nowhere, actually how to create my very own fear. Because my biggest fear in life was to be divorced and cheated on. And I was running as far away as I could, trying to choose this man who I thought would commit to me. He was a Christian. I was like, he's going to commit to me forever. The only thing I really chose him for was that. And I was running as far away as I could from divorce and cheating. And I ran smack bang into it. And that was repulsion. That was me doing everything possible to create the opposite. But I ended up repelling what I wanted and creating the exact opposite and the biggest fear that I ever had. I didn't know anything about magnetism. I didn't know anything about manifesting. I didn't know anything about how to success in life and how to be limitless. I was in an absolute mess. And this was when I was trying to start my business. And then a few years on, within my son was 6 weeks old and I was in such devastation, I thought, I'm not going to let this destroy another thing. I'm not going to let my husband and what's happened here dictate my life, destroy. I don't want to be a zombie for my son. I don't want to be this shell of a human and just down and depressed and low. And I'm not going to just sit here licking my wounds as a victim. I decided I'm going to stand up. I'm going to create this vision. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to have a business. I don't know how anyone's going to want to buy with me when I feel like such a failure and feel like such a fraud and I feel so horrible about myself. But I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to create this and I'm not going to let this take me down. I'm not going to let this take another dream and vision of mine. So for the next 4 years, I work my ass off to run away from that fear of being a failure and to run into like away from I don't want to be a homeless single mom. I don't want to be a single mom with depression, or I don't want to be a single mom that is in the poverty line. I was 4 years of doing everything possible to run away from that reality. I spend $300,000 on coaches. Every amount of money I get into my business, I put it straight into coaching to grow my business and to help me run away from being this poor single mom. And within 4 years of my business, I'm oscillating between 0K, 2K, 5K, 7K, back to 0K. Like I'm yo-yoing all over the place. And I get into this coach and he says to me, I see him, he's like, you're not being a pro, you're being a hobbyist. Like you got to really, you're not getting up at 5 a.m. and 7. You say you want all this shit, but you don't. You don't want it. You don't want to create it. Look at you. You're not really, you're saying you want it, but you're not really standing up and doing it. You're being an amateur. And so I think, no, I'm going to be a pro. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to get this guy and I'm going to pay $5,000 a month and I'm going to fucking start, get this business going. And I'm going to really do it after all these years. I'm going to make to 10K months. I'm going to create what I want. So for all of this time, I'm putting all of this money, $5,000 a month into this coach who I think is going to save me. He's going to, get me out of this place. It's going to break me out and make me worthy to have this money, to have this business. And you know what happens? For 4 months working with this coach who I think is going to save me, who I think's the answer, who's the guru, who's got the key that's going to unlock this manifestation, it's going to make me magnetic, it's going to make me powerful, limitless, successful. I made $0 for 4 months. I actually had the worst time in my whole business working with this person I was paying so much for because he was telling me who I was meant to be, how I was meant to do my business. No, you can't do superconscious, all this energy thing. You got to just sell strategy and do this stuff. He was making me trying to copy him and be exactly who he was because he's like, no, that's not going to make money. This will. Don't listen to your inner self. Don't listen to your intuition. This is what you need to do. This is the strategy stuff. This is going to work. I was in fear. I was in desperation. He was making me think about people as leads and just consume and manipulate and go ahead and get out to all these people. I had 20 sales calls. Every single person said no because I was in deep desperation. The way he was working, what was happening is it was telling me I'm in lack. I can't trust myself. I can't listen to myself. I got to, listen to all this shit he's saying. And I got into this point doing all this stuff with him. I got into $20,000 of debt. I had to borrow all this money from my dad. And I was 3 weeks away, sitting next to my son when he's on this little chair there, looking out at this bars, feeling like I'm caged in this window. I was sitting there looking at a bill, and I was 3 weeks away from not knowing how to pay for my rent because there was another bill coming out and my dad didn't have any more money to borrow. It was around the COVID time. He didn't have any more money to give me. He was having issues with his job at the time. He was a pilot and he wasn't able to fly anymore around COVID. And I was looking at, I'm 3 weeks away from becoming a homeless single mom. I've done everything I can, spent all this money I can, got these coaches that are going to give me the answers and all these pieces. And I've created the exact reality I was running away from. I have repelled what I wanted and I've magnetized what I didn't. Again, the second biggest fear. And I remember sitting there with a complete fear paralyzing me, looking at my son through this window. There's this beautiful tree and this incredible, sun coming, seeping through this window here with these bars. And I felt caged in. I felt barred. I felt stuck. And I was so sorry that for all of these years, $300,000, like spent everything to figure out nothing, just how to be repelling and how to just work hard and hustle and create flatness or repulsion when all I was trying to do was figure out success and limitless potential. And I call this time, the lack versus abundance piece and rich coach versus poor coach because at this time I had two coaches and one of them was this, in my mind, poor coach who was activating my lack, activating my poverty, activating my scarcity, activating that I didn't have it in me, that he had these answers, that I couldn't listen to myself. He did, that I had to follow exactly his little plan and his thing. And it got me into desperation. It got me into fear. It got me into my ego. It got me into hierarchy and status and leads and people are just dollars, money, running around. He activated the poor coach in me. He was activating that ego. And I also had what I called the rich coach at the time. And he was there and he said to me, Miranda, you need to let go of this belief and this thing that you are unworthy and that you only are worthy when you have money, or that your bank account, your dollars, dictate your worth. And he actually got me to watch this movie. It's called It's a Beautiful Life. I don't know if you've seen it before, but it's about the Holocaust, and this incredible man had been ripped away from his family, had had everything stripped away from him, his identity, his name, his money, his job. He had nothing. He was in controlled, enslaved in this place. And his son was there with him, and he helped his son have the most beautiful experience and have a playful game experience, not letting him know the horrors and the horrible situation that we're in. He gave him presence and love, and he gave him safety in the Holocaust. And I remember looking at this man with tears streaming down my face as my son was playing there with this library little toy, because I couldn't even afford to buy him a toy. And it had fingerprints all over it and dirt marks all over it. And I was sitting there judging myself. And in this moment of watching this movie and this man have this incredible time with his son and this beautiful moment, I saw it wasn't about all this money I can give my son. It's about the presence I can give him, the love I can give him. Even these clients, it's not about, all this money I can get from them. It's the presence I can get from them. It's the beauty I can give them. It's the transformation. I started seeing that I was abundant. Like, look at this life this man has. I'm sitting here in freedom and like full of house full of, stuff, food in my fridge. I have so much abundance I'm not letting myself see. And my son needs my presence, and that's what he needs. He doesn't need a whole bunch of money. I felt worthy in that moment, and I started to really come from abundance instead. And I started to go back, and this coach was getting me to go back into my intuition. What do I feel is true, not what someone else is telling me? What do I want to go do? So I started teaching more energetic pieces, and I started working my energetics and abundance in myself. And I started giving from a place of service, not seeing everyone as a dollar bill walking around, but how do I actually transform that human? How do I actually support them, love them, care about what they need, not just me needing some money? And the moment I did that, within 3 weeks, and when I learned about this super conscious piece that this coach was telling me in that moment as well, which I'll tell you more about later, I had my first $20,000 month. And then I never went back ever again. That was almost 7 years ago. I went and created within a few months $100,000 month, and within a few months $2,200,000 month. I actually found a level of presence and love and unconditionally loving of myself and my son that didn't matter if I was having all this money, all these things. God, the universe was like, finally, she's learned the lesson. Like, here, we can have abundance flow now. She's learned how to be magnetic and how to be unconditionally loving of herself. She's learned magnetism. She's learned these energetic principles. I started to attract love and have love and these incredible, beautiful relationships in my life like I never had before. Health and vitality. I struggled with body image and eating disorders and all this stuff. I started to just have natural flow of success and health. Everything I ever wanted, everything I was striving for, fighting life for, naturally started to come magnetically. And anytime I was creating a retreat, I ran retreats around the world, right? I'll show you a few of these pieces. Yeah, let me show you this. Yeah, whatever you're seeing or feeling, you can share it. But, this was my life after that. And there's this quote, if you bring forth what is within you, it will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, it will destroy you. And that is how it felt the whole time. It was the beautiful, most incredible joy for me to just have these dreams and visions and start manifesting them in my business, with my son, in my life. Like I was able to birth him. And, yes, it was painful, but I had the most joy of holding him with me. This is what it feels like to manifest and magnetize what we want. But if we can't bring forth what's in us, if we have these visions stuck in, we can't do it, it destroys us. And if we become truly magnetic, we will get everything we want. That was the answer to all these things for me. I've been now 20 years in coaching, 10 years in my business. I've invested $1 million, and I've supported clients to create millions, not just me to have their success, but them to have multi-millions. Jody on the right there, she was on Peru, went to Peru retreat with me, and she flew business class back with me. It was the most beautiful, joyful thing to have my client, who I love and adore, to be able to have a luxurious, beautiful life and travel around the world speaking. She, has run competitions around the world, to be able to support her to live those dreams. You know, I've generated $2.5 million now in my business, going from $20,000 in debt. That in my old job would have taken me 35 years to create. I did that in a few, right? I had 5 international retreats around the world by being my true self and living a life that I love. And a single mum to my beautiful son, I work 10 hours a week, right? Not working 70 hours. How do I create that? 34 of my programs I've put out in the world have worked exactly the way I've desired them, with retreats, with programs, with masterminds, with one of them didn't work exactly the way I desired. How on earth do we do that? How do I go from nothing that I ever wanted was ever working to that? Because I've learned the key to magnetism and I want to share it with you. Do you guys want to hear it? Do you want to learn it? Yeah? Tell me, unmute, put in the chat, what's your key takeaway? Because I've told you a whole bunch of lessons in that story, and I'd love to hear, and then we're going to keep going and I'm going to unpack these lessons for you. So unmute or put it in the chat. What's your key lesson there? What'd you hear? The answers are within. Yes. Never chase, let flow. Yeah, I mean, we get to choose whether we fight or retreat from life, or whether we let it through us, for sure. Go, Abby.
Where we place our values. So
Yes.
this year is the only time I've ever experienced financial scarcity. My parents had when I was younger, but not me as
Mm-hmm.
an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And it's becoming very clear why I've experienced this. So
Yeah.
just understanding that I was putting so much value on financial abundance, exactly what you were saying,
Yeah.
which is how we were raised, really. And
Yeah.
you got to work hard for it. You got to show it. Yeah. So thank
100%.
you.
And, so often, there's this, and look, we learn these laws of attraction, or like these basic manifestation things of like, oh, you got to say, I'm rich, I'm abundant, I'm blah, 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 to create what we want. But all that's doing, and you'll see why that doesn't work in the deeper way of manifesting, is because it's actually telling our subconscious we don't have money, we don't have abundance, we've got a problem with it, and like the energy goes to what we don't want, right? So yeah, we'll learn more about that. Thanks, Abby. Chris?
Yeah, I hear you, and definitely listen to what's inside and just block out what everybody else is saying and what's coming in from the outside world. You just got to really believe in yourself, and you've got to push through it no matter what hits you.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you've got something different or you think different than somebody else, then they're definitely going to come at you because they can't see your vision, and that's a good thing because your vision is definitely your own, and
Yeah.
just go for it.
Yeah, we've got to be our true nature and purpose, right? We have to do it. We can't neglect that, and we can't follow someone else's. I was trying to copy this coach, which a lot of people are told to do, right?
Yeah.
We outsource our power, and they're meant to be the dictating force. When I work with my clients, their true nature and their superconscious and their power is number one. We serve that. I never dictate. I never say copy me. It doesn't work.
Mm.
We got to unlock that for them, right? Thanks, Chris. Beautiful. Listening to your own inner guidance, not forcing a whole life inside of me. Yes, it's meeting that part of us in lack and then looking to fix it. This is a result system. Yeah, no worries. So I hope you got something out of that and just really sit with the key lesson there. So let's have a look as well at this. When I'm just going to play another song, and I just want you to do a little magnetism audit for yourself. I'm going to have a couple of questions before we get going into like what's the keys to unlocking this for you. I want to, yeah, copying definitely doesn't work. I want you to just sit with this. I'm just going to give you like 2 minutes to sit with these questions and see like what's that impact that's going to have on your life as well. Okay, so let me show you this. These ones here. I'm going to play a song for you. Just 1 second. We'll probably do about 3 minutes or so. Just tell me when you've finished in the, why is this not working? Tell me when you've finished in the chat. I'll get those questions up in a second. I'll just play when this lets me play. Come on. Sometimes it seems to do this, my Spotify. Come on. Okay. So here's your questions, my loves. Just put it in the chat when you finished answering that for yourself.
Synchronize burn, synchronize wave, synchronize rise, synchronize heart. Lifting further away from positive. Synchronize burns and synchronize waves, synchronize flight, synchronize heart, synchronize burns, synchronize waves, synchronize flight, synchronize heart, synchronize burns, synchronize waves.
Miranda, is it possible to share the questions one more time? Or maybe put them in the chat?
Yeah. Sorry, hon. I thought it should be sharing it. Hang on a second. Are you seeing that now?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oops. What's happening, Peter? There you go. Okay. So we're really, in order to go where we want to, create another reality, like we've got to really know clearly of where we are right now. We need to be very clear on the current reality as well. So throughout today, like I'm going to get you to really look from a GPS point of view, where are you exactly right now? Where do you want to be? Like we've got to really know these 2 points, or we won't be able to move forward and get the next steps the GPS tells us, right? And I'll go into that more later. But these questions, it's just where are you still forcing and not attracting? Where are you, creating this hard work mentality, or even in repulsion? What do you feel your biggest block to it is? And what would happen, what would actually happen to you? What's the possibilities if you were able to unlock magnetism? You're able to know how to do that. So again, any main thoughts, it doesn't have to be exact answers of what you had there, but what did you realize from these questions? What did you realize? What came out for you? Again, you can unmute or you can put it in the chat. I love some of the ones who are unmuting and sharing because I get to see your beautiful faces in here.
Hi, Miranda.
Hey, Dal. Yeah, go for it.
I think that because of our conditioning and our past experiences, we that's our natural set point
Yeah.
is to force, push,
Yeah.
just hustle our whole lives. And then, like you, I've come across various coaches who have said, you've got to get 5 pieces of content out there, 10 DMs. And if you're not succeeding, if you're not doing that, you'll never succeed. And
Yeah.
it's reinforcing. And I think that's just dropped now where you said that coach for you triggered your
Ego.
lack and your
Yeah.
ego more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
So they keep you in that perpetual cycle of having to re-sign with them, because if you leave now, you're never going to do it.
Yeah.
So re-sign and let's go another 6 months and
Yeah.
re-sign
And it's an actual tactic, and I don't know, I think I may have said this to you, Vanessa, in Gold Coast, but I actually was speaking to some coaches about what's really key in events and making them really powerful. And someone who I know very high up in the coaching space said, you need to put your clients and the VIPs up the front and isolate the others and make them the big people so that everyone else feels lack and they're seven-class citizens so that they think they have to join your program. That's what someone who I was the one who activated my ego. I'd heard, I'm not still in their space anymore, but through the coaches who know coaches, I heard that was their response. They actively are trying to activate separation, to activate the ego because they know people will buy from lack, and all that does is it activates our own desperation, our own lack. And then yeah, we are sitting there 50 hours, 70 hours a week doing everything they say, all this shit, and it's eating away our heart and soul and everyone else because we're not coming across heart led and soul led to anyone either. Everyone on that 20 sales call could tell energetically I was needing and desperate and even though I was following the script and all the shit they say, but I wasn't in my heart, I wasn't in my soul. So it contracts, and I'll show you guys, and you saw it in Gold. Like it's closed, and it doesn't matter what we do, And look, I see some people who make it somewhere in the ego, and they make some money, however, everyone I've seen, it's all gone to shit because it's built on nothing. It's built on sand. It's going to fall. It cannot be
Yeah.
sustained, right? Lack will create lack. And when we're activated in that way, or we're in those spaces that activate it, and now I'm not saying that they're fully even aware. I don't think they're nearly even fully conscious of this, right? I'm not saying they're sitting there trying to, I mean, some of them maybe, who knows, but a lot of them are unaware that they're doing it. I had a coach, and that interestingly, the one who was my rich coach, right, that I mentioned, he had built a whole business, made $10 million off the ego and making everyone else create off ego. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it went to bankruptcy. It went to shit. And he then created and taught me what I knew being a meditation teacher, all these pieces, because he'd done that and he created from ego and it destroyed him and everyone it touched, And so then he helped me make it from soul. And it was the battle. It's the battle of the ego and the soul.
Yeah.
And in our business, that's what happens. And the moment I was in my heart and soul, and I'll say to you guys, and Vanessa, you were in Gold Coast, I was wrestling more, honestly, with my ego in Gold Coast. I was really worried about How's it going to be received? Like, are people going to really, like, my heart's on a platter? Are they going to hate it or reject me? Am I going to make money off this because I've put a lot of money into these events? Like, my ego and my fears were activated, and I alchemized a lot, but it was still more active in Gold Coast than it was in Melbourne. And I can tell you, I was even more present in Melbourne. I was even more powerful. And results wise of sales or whatever, even just because I was more in my heart, much more power in Melbourne, you know?
You seemed, I saw the change in you
Yeah.
from Gold Coast. I mean, you were brilliant. You were
Yeah. It's
absolutely, I
still,
loved
I still was doing
every,
my hearted
yeah.
service, but my fear was still more present there.
You were
Whereas I was just
totally
full.
relaxed and
Yeah,
in
I was
your,
just in service. I'm like,
yeah.
I surrendered about whether I'd lose the money or not. I was like, whatever, I don't care. Like, I just want to serve and I wanted these women not to be robbed like I was. I want them not to struggle like I was. Like I just gave up on caring about my fear, and that was even and I know the tools, and this is what I'm going to say to you guys. Like I know the tools and I know what to do, but my ego still gets activated and I've got to keep helping her calm down and come back to my soul, right? But I'm just showing you, and I'll show you in a moment when our ego's there, it closes everything, and it doesn't matter. I did the exact same talk, I did the same stuff, like it, but it just came slightly from fear, and it was still contracted. Whereas in Melbourne, my heart was just fully open. I was just like, I'm here to transform these women and whatever. Same with you guys here. It's like, I'm here to serve you. I want you to be receive. I don't want you to struggle like I have. And whatever happens from that is a bonus, It's just I'm here to, so it's just depends, right? And we'll show you more. So thanks for seeing that, Vanessa, um, and sharing. So
Right, thank you.
yeah, so we've got some people trusting themselves, a big block. Yeah, our relationship to ourself and our self-trust is a massive part of the magnetism piece. Yeah, too much training, not enough action. And again, if we're doing all these trainings and we're not actually acting and embodying, again, it's a piece of not fully trusting and backing us, right? Overthinking the marketing. And it's, yeah, if we're focusing on the process and how and like, overthinking, and it's stopping our magnetism as well. You guys are really helping understand and see what is blocking it. Donna, yeah, yeah, and yes, there's a part of understanding advertising and marketing, and like, I obviously know strategy. I've done a whole lot of stuff. Like, there is a part of us needing to know that in business. However, again, I'm going to show you if we don't have the right, the correct consciousness and the heart and soul coming versus the fear. It doesn't matter what you know about advertising or marketing or sales, or it just will get blocked, and I'll help you see that more. Um, I'm not in a space with like-minded people. It makes a big difference to be surrounded by like-minded people, for sure. The energetic of that. Beautiful. The speed. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's keep moving into what it is that we're going to look into in a moment about the soul and the ego, right? So in the magnetism code, there is a few key pieces that we're going to have a look at today. And I'm going to unpack as much as I can in the hour that we have. Are you guys all good? Like water, you're all good. Does anyone need a little quick water thing break, or we're halfway through now? Or are you good? You're good? Most people are good. You got your teas? All right. If anyone needs a water or energy, maybe just like let's just do a quick little stand up, shake around. Let's get you into the energy because we're about to get into the real unpacking of these keys, right? So let's just shake some energy, dance around. Ah, I'm super excited about what I'm about to share with you as well, this key code. All right, beautiful. Just, yeah, keep aware of your energy. And if you need anything to support that, and you can have a seat when you're ready. I'll give you like a minute. Some of you guys seem to have gone off, got a water or whatever. I'll give you a minute for that. And yeah, if you have anything else to share or, while people are waiting, we're about to get into the actual breakdown of that. The puppy's cute. I've worked with coaches that made it feel unnatural, not trusting, fear to start something and fail again. Yeah. Yeah, it's super common, Tracy, and we can have these experiences with these people and they're not activating like our true flow, our true nature. And it is awkward and it doesn't work. And then we think, oh, well, if I go try the business again or I get another coach again, like it's going to do the same, why it's any different. It is different because depending on where the coaches are coming from and where we're coming from makes all the difference. And you're going to see that in a moment, right? And this is, I've spent $1 million to work this out. I don't want you guys spending that much. And like 55 coaches or whatever it is that I've done. All right. I think you guys are back. Let's get moving into this. Cool. So this is the key code that we're going to unlock, right? The magnetism code. We're going to unlock and go into your identity and the key that is a part of this. And we're also going to go into the frequency and your energetic and creation and actually how we're going to move and move these things forward. And depending on, how quickly I get through everything will depend on, how much we get to cover with it all as well. But let me go through here. So I do want to say you don't have a strategy problem. You have an identity problem. That's the key of all of these things. And the fastest way to upgrade your life is to stop being the person who created the current one, right? So I don't know if you guys have heard about this concept before, but we can 2x things, which means do more and do it better. Work harder, add more strategies, get better at advertising, get good at marketing, get good at sales, say yes to everything, try to fix what not working, go get the next strategy coach, the next thing. Same you, but busier and tired, exhausted, depleted, creating not from a place of what you actually deeply want. And 10x is you get to be different. You have a new identity with less effort. You decide what actually matters and you cut 80 to 90% of the noise and only do what moves the needle. You become a different person and everything changes from that. And that is the, way that I started to move and what really made all of the difference for me. And what I realize is that speed of success is our speed of identity commitment. When we can create that new identity, that new level and lean into that, and we're not fixated on the memory of the past anymore. We're actually created, from our vision and our future self. That is the key to the shifts. That is the key to the big changes that we need to have. And I started to uncover that when I was in this work on the superconscious. The reason why in that 1 month, after 33 years of my life of searching, hustling, trying, I unlocked such a level of key that I had a $20,000 month and 100. Like that's 5xing my growth within months after 33 years of trying and never getting anywhere, right? Do you understand the craziness of that? I unlocked a key and I'm going to share it with you. And that first main key is that you have an ego and you have a superconscious or a soul. You have two parts of your mind, right? And your ego is your survival self. It is your limited self. It is your human, inner child who decided and believed like, I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'm not powerful, I'm hopeless, I'm not enough, I'm incapable, I don't have capacity. Others know, others are powerful, others are chosen, others are wanted, others are lovable, whatever, right? They know the way, I don't. And the world is hard or brutal or cruel or stuff and struggles and I don't I've got to fight it. Like we make these decisions and we're not even aware of it as children. And then we live our whole life dictated by that identity. For me, why did I create this single mom left when she was pregnant, most vulnerable, abandoned, cheated on, divorce? Why did I co-create that in that moment? Because my identity and my ego believed I was going to be abandoned. I was, when I'm in my feminine and vulnerable, I'm going to be left. That was the decisions I made, observing whatever I did as a kid. And I was in a time capsule, living my whole life unaware from this identity and creating all the things I feared. All my childhood fears, I just was creating them because I didn't know there was anything else. I just thought I've got to operate from survival and run away from my fear and compensate. And that's what the ego does. It's obsessed with fear. It's obsessed with survival. It's obsessed with keeping us safe and alive and running away from fear. But all it's doing is giving the energy to the fear and co-creating it. Do you get that? Can you guys see when you've been so dominated by fear? I was so dominated by, I don't want to be a homeless single mom. I don't want to be a poor single mom. I was so dominated by it. It was giving so much energy to that fear. It created it. That is my ego driving my life. And I want you to imagine this picture. This is what it is. This little girl, 3-year-old, in the car of your life. This is what happens for most of us. Can't see over the steering wheel, like can't see, can't see the map, doesn't know how to use the pedals, just pushing shit and smashing into everything. Like your car, the road, the girl, everyone else, like they're all fucking gonna be destroyed if your little child's driving that, right? Who here has seen a kid or whatever and thinks that's a great idea to put your kid in the car when they're 3 and drive, unleash them on the road, right? We know that's not a good idea. My son's 9. I wouldn't get him in my Range Rover. Like, it's not a good idea for my car, people, him, no, me, no one. And we laugh, but that is what we're doing. And we sit there going, I was like, why am I repelling? You know, why am I repelling everything I want? Why is everything I'm just hard work, dead flat? Because my 3-year-old's driving around thinking I'm going to get somewhere I want to get to. No, it's not. I kid you not. If you have your inner ego, your 3-year-old in the seat of your car, you're going to smash shit everywhere. You're not going to create what you want. Right? And we can laugh about it, but it's not nice and fun when it's happening, is it? I don't like what happens when my ego drives around. I don't like it. So we have this part of us, right? And I'm going to show you guys what we then try and do is we go, okay, and I'll show you this little thing here. It doesn't matter that you can read all of it, but we then try with our conscious mind to go, I'm going to push against you. I'm going to, figure out how to fight you. Oh, I don't want that fear. So I'm going to work as hard as I can. I'm going to get $300,000 of coaches. I'm going to study 8 years consciously, try and run away from the ego, try and run away from my fears. It doesn't work. We have a superconscious part of us, and I'm going to tell you what that is in a moment. And that's the only piece that's powerful that can see clarity, direction, confidence, unlock, activate, magnetize. Like it's the key to unlock it, right? But most of the time, we're consciously trying to beat it. And I want you to imagine there's a seesaw and your ego is this big, monster or this big being, right? That's fully, I'm going to survive and I'm going to, not get hurt and blah, blah, blah. Your conscious mind is just this tiny little thing that's like small and brittle and it can't fight the unconscious. It has no ability. It can figure out 5 things at any one time. It has no ability to fight it. We have this other part of our brain. There's these 3 parts. This other part called the superconscious. It is huge. It is ginormous. It is limitless. It is God. It is our connection to source, spirit, God, like in form. It is our genius. It is our intuition. It is connected to all time and place. It has all knowing. It has all wisdom. You know, when you follow your intuition and there's like this incredible power that unlocks and you can't figure it out, you wouldn't have known that was the answer, but your intuition knew. That part of us is the only thing that can be strong enough to outweigh the unconscious, right? I want you to, think of like my intuition, like we have this naturally as children, but we often disconnect from it and we don't know how to use it anymore. So when I was a kid, my parents, when we lived in Malaysia, we had like housemaids, that worked with us and lived in our house. It's a normal thing in Malaysia to have. And we loved our maids. Like they were like my besties, like they were my great friends. And, I was only 4 at the time, but I had such a beautiful connection to them. However, one of them, my parents were interviewing, my brother and I were like, no, don't get this girl. Like, don't get this woman. We don't like her. We haven't got a good energy sense from her. Like, don't do it. Our intuition was just saying no, right? We had no idea why. She didn't say anything. She didn't whatever, but we just felt no. Within 2 weeks, they'd hired her. They didn't listen to us. She ended up stealing from our house and wiping her bum on the wall, like after the toilet, and leaving, right? Bit strange, but as kids, we knew there was something off. But how often is our intuition shut down and shut down and shut down? We don't listen to it, and so then it doesn't have any power anymore. We don't know how to access it, right? However, when we know how to, it's incredibly powerful. Like, first year into my business, I didn't know how to create clients. I didn't know anything about advertising and these things. However, intuitively, I had this sort of connection to God at this time and spirit. I felt like I had to go to this um, I felt like I had to go to this sort of networking event. I didn't know why. I just felt like I had to. Now, for me, my son was 6 months old. It was a big thing for me to leave, have time away from him and go. So I was at this networking event and I'm sitting there and I'm talking and whatever, and nothing's happening. And I get to the bathroom at the end of it and I'm like, God, like, why am I here? Intuition, you told me to come here. Nothing's happened. Like, I'm away from my son. I don't want to waste my time. Why am I here? Get out of the bathroom. There's a guy there waiting, and he is connected to this radio station. He says, "Hey, we've got another networking event in a week. Like, do you want to come along? I feel like it'd be really great for you." So I then go to this networking event, and I get there and I meet this woman, and she ends up giving me a whole year's worth of clients. She becomes a partner with me. I get a year worth of clients. I don't know how to do that, but my intuition knew I had to be here and I had to meet that person. I had to go there. How do I work that out? Would you like to just get told to go somewhere and boom, you have a whole year worth of money? Right? I didn't have to do 5 content posts and 70 hours of work, Vanessa, That's what our intuition can do. However, we don't know how to access it anymore. We've not been taught how to do it. And there's actually a process. There's actually a way to unlock this, right? And I want you to imagine when we're trying to like find something with our conscious and work against our unconscious, it's like we're in a dark room. You have a little flashlight, you're trying to find a millions of dollars and it's under all this shit and you're in this dark room like flashlight. That's what the conscious mind can do with the unconscious. It's pointless. It's going to find nothing. But when you turn the superconscious on, you have your intuition and your genius. It's like the sunlight comes boom on and you can see all things and you know exactly what to do next and how to do it. And often there's 1 or 2 or 3 steps. Sometimes you unlock magnetism so powerfully that it's not even a step. When I learned the superconscious, I decided I want more people in my team. And I had 2 people in my team and I wanted more and I wanted a couple of specific roles. I did nothing else other than decide that and do my superconscious manifesting work to call it in. Within a month, I took no action. I had 8 people come and work with me because someone referred someone and whatever. I did not say anything to anyone. Who would like to just draw in magnetism just because you want it and desire it and boom, it just happens? Yeah? Then, when I had my $100,000 launch, I did my superconscious work, my emotional, energetic work, and then I took 3 actions. I did 2 masterclasses and 1 live video in my Facebook group. 3 actual steps of things. I didn't work 50 hours a week. I didn't do 5 bits of content. I did 3 things in that 1 month, and I had $100,000. Would you like to take 3 actions or 1 or 2 and have 100,000? Anyone like that? Let's help you unlock it, right? So it's a key secret to unlocking this. And I'll show you this. Have you guys seen Limitless with Bradley Cooper? Has anyone seen that? Let me see. So he, before, he was like, it's homeless, like, well, he just had no money. He was in a shitty house and this bad relationship. He was a mess. He had no job. He was like, felt like a bit of a junkie. Like, he was that sort of vibe. He then has this pill and it's called Limitless and it unlocks his brain and his abilities and incredible. And he then creates this masterpiece of a life and he's this big financial advisor guru guy. His health gets amazing. He looks amazing like his normal Bradley Cooper, like because he has this Limitless, pill. Now there was these side effects. It was a pill, so he had to figure all that out. However, we have this ability, before after for me, of the superconscious and what it unlocks in us and our highest abilities, right? But it depends on if we have our ego or we know how to unlock our soul and our superconscious. So I want to show you, ladies, a demonstration of the power of the superconscious. Now, I would like someone who feels like they'd like me to give them a superconscious reading, and it's going to be someone I don't know. And I'm going to show you what the superconscious can know and find out about you and how it can work through your blocks and understand, not from a conscious trying to coach you figure it out, but from the superconscious going to unlock your biggest blocks and unsee this vision and things that you may never have seen before. I'm going to get someone to volunteer of this, but I just want to say, if you do want to volunteer, like I'll pick one of you guys, but you just know it will be quite vulnerable potentially because I might see things that you don't normally see for yourself or that you don't necessarily always want people to see or like it can be a big thing, right? It's powerful, but it's huge what I can see about you. You're going to be naked. Like there's nothing I won't be able to see, right? So let's, yeah, put your hands up or put I'm in there if you would like to be a volunteer for me to do a reading. I've got a couple of people here. All right, I'm gonna have a sense of who's got the energy. I'm just seeing where the energy wants to land. Okay, I actually am sensing it's Philippa. So Philippa, you have to unmute, my love. Mhm.
Thank you. This is exciting.
Well, hopefully you enjoy it, my love. We'll see how you go. Oh, so all right, so I'm just going to spotlight Philippa. So I'm going to tune in. Now, I don't know anything about Philippa. Know nothing, right? But I'm going to show you when I tune into the superconscious, like what will unlock and will come out. Now, this is going to be just like a short video. When I do this with people, like it could be hour long, like whatever, right? So, but I'm just going to show you guys what can happen when we do this versus what we come with as a conscious pace, right? So when I'm doing this, I'm going to just go quiet and tune in and see what I see, and I'm going to share. But I would love all of you to just give your love to Philippa and I and just send your love, that way in your presence, because that will help us unlock more as well. Okay? Beautiful. All right. So just if you are comfortable to close your eyes or just lower your gaze, um, let's just be in service to Philippa and really unlock key distinctions, visions to help her see herself and her true nature and her genius more than she's ever seen before, and also to unlock any key blocks that are in the way of her. So we're in service to you and your heart, Philippa. And I'm going to just tune into you and your energy. And I'm going to first look into your vision, your soul, what's its essence, what it's the keys of what it's here for, your desires, your excitement, all these elements. So just give me a moment to tune in and I'll share with you what I get. Okay. So Philippa,
Yes.
I see you as an incredibly like fierce, powerful woman. You have this fierceness and this fire and this energy that is like one of the most powerful that I've seen. And when you are unleashed, you you receive and you channel and you like fiercely go for what you want, like a lioness, like real. There's a lot of like big cat energy with you, um, and you're sort of ruthless and relentless in going and devouring what you want and what you want to take from like when you're in your greatest power. There's a lot of solar plexus energy. There's a lot of power in you. Um, but it's in the greatest service when you take and you devour like that and you really go for that power, same as the lioness, like it's serving the collective, it's serving the whole, it's serving the cubs. It's like the fierce feminine, you know, when you are really unleashed like that. And you are serving God when you're doing that. And you're ruthless and you're ruthless for truth and you're ruthless for honor and integrity. Like you have a heart of gold, a soul of gold. And I see you actually like speaking on stage a lot, or like there's a lot of fire and a lot of power energy that wants to flow through you and out of you and just unleash on people, but to bring them back to truth and to wake them up and to slap them really, like to be awake. Um, So there's a lot of that fierce sort of fire, Aries, like, well, not, but just warrior-esque, but, and shield maiden even, like, for truth and honor and integrity and, things that you're standing for. But there's also this real feminine, loving, sensual, like deeply, it's just the divine feminine in her full rage and her fierceness. And when I say rage, it's like, fierce love. But then in that real nurture and like drop in, you've got those two elements. You would then be so tender and kind and compassionate and just like envelop people and they feel your love. It's just honestly this divine feminine nurturing being as well that I see. Um, yeah, and I just see you fully in that full expression in both ways when you're unlocked into that vision. Um, but yeah, there's a connection to like dance and music, like it's just full expression and it's very connected to how you're feeling and what wants to flow through you. And when you're in your power, you're not judging or stopping or hesitate, like you are just being fully with life and whatever dance it wants to be, and you're really in that place of surrender. But yeah, that's a key piece I'm seeing about you when you're in your genius. I'm going to go more into what I see as the blocks to that or anything else. Is there anything you want to say about that, hun, or,
Oh,
anything?
yeah, thank you so much. That's amazing. It's spot on. It's how I feel. It's like I've got something like really big to share, something really like disruptive in a good way to
Mm.
light people up, to help them to come into their truth and express their soul and create this ripple effect in the collective. And it's all been sitting there for so long and I just can't move forward.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I'm going insane because I'm like, it's here and what is wrong? Why can't I
Yeah.
bring
Yeah. And I'll help you
this
see what the
through
block
and
is.
have the impact that should be? Yeah.
It's very Kali and Sekhmet. I don't know if you know those goddesses, but it's very much
Yeah.
that energy, right? It's very deeply present in you. But I'll have a look at why that's blocked and I'll see.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's just again send Philippa love. And we're just going to look into like what's the key block, what's the key stuckness, what's that piece in the way to this? Because we saw the vision, I saw it very clearly, but what's blocking that? So we're getting serving, giving love, and I'm going to go into this circle as well. Mm. Okay, so the key thing I see, hun, is that there is quite a bit of not just in your past as a child and, but in your lineage, and whether you believe in past lives or you believe that there's ancestral lineage, behind, there's definitely the piece of the witch and the piece of you really going out there in your feminine powers and being killed for it, and being like in your ancestry and being the feminine and the magic and sensuality and sex and power and all the things you stand for as the divine feminine, it being um you dying for that if you show that, and not just even that, I saw humiliation, I saw outcast, I saw judged, attacked, hunted, and a lot of humiliation, a lot of you trying to do it and then just being shut down, put down, told to go back in your box. And I actually see it's more connected to the feminine. It wasn't so much about the masculine doing it. It was like your mother your the feminine line, it's the feminine's judgment of you. It's them saying, no, that's not how we want to be, particularly about the rage or the real sensuality. Or it's like, no, that's not how women should be. You shouldn't do this, that. That's bad. You can't show that part of yourself. You must hide that. You were shamed as a child, like for your feminine nature, for your natural curiosity, for power. No, the masculine must just do, and it's a big thing on like, no, you have to be masculine to have power. No, you have to be masculine to have money. And you don't want it. You don't want to do that. But you think the only way is to have it through the masculine. You don't want to. But the feminine, it's got to be weak, it's got to be tamed, it's got to be quiet, it's got to be submissive, it's got to be, seductress sexuality, like that's bad, that's, evil, that's going to corrupt. So you can't express it, you can't let it out. Or you can do it behind the scenes, very privately, very small, but you can't bring it out to be big because as soon as you do that, you're going to be cut down, outed of the tribe. It's the fear of that, and that's the visibility piece. It's like if I put a light on and I shine, I am going to be hunted and taken out. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Does that feel true or?
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a lot of fear of judgment, and I've had things like that come up in the past, definitely. It's been a huge thing of like I've died for these gifts in basically every single life in terrible ways, and that whole lineage from my mother's side. But I've been doing so much clearing around it, but obviously there's still layers that I haven't yet uncovered. It's it can be quite not linear in that sense when you're clearing it, I guess. But it's really good to know to go more deeply into that now, and
Yeah, yeah. And
it makes sense, right?
yeah, and I'll message me after this and I can like help you see a bit more of a bridge and like what else to do with that. Like, but just how does it feel being read by me not knowing you and not consciously having any connection, but just to be able to see some things from a superconscious?
Oh, amazing. I'm
Ladies, tell
blown
me how it
away.
feels watching. Sorry, what was that, hun?
I said, I'm amazing. I'm blown away. That was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so
We don't have
grateful.
to have all these different combos and figure all this out consciously, right? And there's much more. Like this has been 3 minutes each, right? We could go on for a lot longer. That is the piece, and I'll tell you, we'll message and I'll look at some next steps. But this is the key to unlocking our genius and to actually navigating beyond it because all the conscious stuff we do, all the healing things, whatever, we just end up looping through and we don't actually end up shifting a lot of change, right? Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks, hun. Anyone else want to put in the chat just, yeah, how was that for you? I'll chat more to Philippa after this as well to help support her with that. But what is it like watching it? Put it in the chat or unmute and send Philippa some love as well. Thank you, Philippa, for being our demonstration. Amazing. What else? Would you guys like to be able to tune into people and just know what's the core piece blocking it and what's the core thing that's underneath, not sitting there chatting for hours and hours and hours trying to consciously figure it out? And not just that, what would happen for you if you could unlock that layer of insight for yourself? And that's why you can take 3 steps and you're out of it, not hundreds of hours of coaching. And when I've been told, like for my superconscious, to go to Cambodia, you know, and I didn't know why, but I was just given that directive of my intuition. I'd spent 5 years of coaching and trying to do all this healing work on relationships to call in a relationship I would love. I went to Cambodia. I sat in this temple I was told to go to intuitively for 3 days. Nothing was happening, nothing was coming. And I received a message at that temple and I understood something about my heart and what was blocking me. And I unlocked my blocks to love after 5 years of trying. Nothing really shifted. I unblocked it in one place of following my intuition to go to a temple. And then within a few months, I called in a love of my life. Right? Would you guys love to learn how to do that for yourself? Where, I had these retreats and I'm sitting there for 6 weeks trying to create my Bali retreat, trying to market it, spend all this money on ads. No one's buying, no one's happening. There's one person that does, and I'm afraid, my ego is full of afraid of like running a retreat and no one coming or one person coming and it just being like bad on my reputation. That's what was directing me. I did a super conscious reading on myself, like I just did there. I shifted this energetic and I was able to tune into my soul and why my soul wanted it and what was the key block. And I saw it and I took action just on getting more in my heart and soul and caring more about the transformation, the service with the client, the connection with them, letting go of how many people come and boom, within, a week or two after, my whole retreat was full from one super conscious reading of myself. Yeah, it's a gift, right? The ancestral lineage generations, yes, it could be, and the thing is, the superconscious works in about 7 or 8 generations of insight. It knows all of this. The conscious mind only knows from when you're about 5 years old beyond. The conscious only comes in then. The unconscious comes in when we're a few weeks in utero, and it's dictating our life for the next few years. But the superconscious knows all of that and 8 lineages beyond that. And so it has an insight to know what you need to move and whatever. We can't work that out with just the unconscious and conscious, right? How could you know it? I can't like teach you guys the superconscious right here and then now. I'm just trying to show you the distinction so you see the difference. But I'm going to show you a couple of tools that will help you unlock that power and energy as well. But it's not something I've studied this for 6 years with one mentor, and I've done hours of the work on it. It's not something that we can just do a hack on, but I want you to see what it starts to open up, and I'll give you some more thoughts after. Saying it from a different perspective, I'd love to be able to tap into that. Yeah, yeah, and it's not even just the ancestral energies. It's just it knows. It's like God insight and knowledge, right? I'll tell you one more example. I had that client, Jody, that I mentioned to you. She was exploring my work and she was asking me about it. And so then for 3 weeks, she was deciding whether she was going to come into my alchemy program or not. And she was sitting there and question, Anama, whatever. And I was just doing my superconscious work to clear whatever energy was stopping it because I felt she was connected to me and I felt like we were meant to work together, but I was just clearing it. And then I ended up getting her to talk to one of the clients who had worked with me, and she had a chat to one of the girls, Melina. And then I went out with Melina in Melbourne just for a drink, and I was in this bar, and Melina called me and she said, "I can't find you." So I went downstairs to meet her, right? In that moment I went there, Jody walked down straight past us, and like Miranda, and then Melina, the girl I'd messaged, got her in contact with, was there as well. Now, I don't know that, I didn't even know she lives in Melbourne. I don't know the exact moment she's walking by. She joined my program because of that magic moment. God knew that. The intuition did. I'm not sitting there planning that. Just going out for a drink with my client, right? Would you love to have that God abilities to those things? That happens to me all the time, right? Or come into people's dreams or whatever. We don't have to work all the time because God, the superconscious universe is on that, right? Isn't that nice? Okay, I want to show you guys a little bit more about how to unlock more of this. So, firstly, I want you to understand that we have an ego and a superconscious. And whichever one you're really living life by and dictating by is going to determine whether we create flow or whether we create stuckness and yo-yoing. Whether we create magnetism, that's from the superconscious. And if we create repulsion, that's because the ego is dictating, or flatness and hustle and hard work. The ego is doing this. The only way to magnetism is the superconscious, right? And so I just wanted to show you too, a client of mine, Ella, I'm not going to show you her whole little video, but I want to tell you about these other people as well that have had this happen. Because Ella, she came to me and she actually had a coach work with her and she spent $80,000 on, sorry, it's not gonna, she spent $80,000 on this coach and she was activating her ego. She was activating her desperation. She was trying to play little childhood high school games. She didn't actually give her the stuff that she'd promised her. She'd promised her these retreats and shit. She didn't even give it to her. Has anyone experienced that with some coaches before? And she got into $0. Like she had, for a few months, made nothing. And she'd burn her business down because everything this coach had told her to do, it felt icky, it felt egoic, it felt yuck. So she burnt it. Now she started working with me and we built her life from soul. We connected her back to her soul. I connected her to a superconscious. And within 3 months of doing that work, she'd made $80,000. And she kept having 3, 4 consecutive months of her biggest months ever because she worked in her superconscious, not from her ego. Jody, the girl I'd mentioned to you, she came to me and she'd already made 100,000 or so by the time she'd come, but her life was falling apart. Her relationship was falling apart. She felt like she was hustling and struggling and it wasn't easy anymore. She felt like it was dead, all those things. Within a month of working with me, she made over a, 6-figure launch within doing that in that short period of time. But not just that, she was on retreat, she was loving life, she was fully in flow, and she created from that space, right? So I want you to see it's not just me doing it and I figured it out and I can only be the one. When you learn how to do it, it unlocks that for you as well. Now, I'm very aware of time, so I want to go into the frequency piece and the creation piece as much as I can. So when you're in your ego or you're in your soul, it's not just your identity that changes and then that dictates results. It changes your vibration. When you're in your ego, your vibration, it comes from lack. And if you have a look at vibration, a vibration is waves. And when you're in lack energy, which is shame, guilt, fear, pride, anger, like all of that is lack energy. It's a slow wave of vibration. And all the vibrations emit a different wave, okay? But I want you to see ego, like lack, is slow. It's very human, it's very dense. And then things happen slowly, things don't manifest easily. When you guys are in shame, how easy is it to put yourself out there and create visions and dreams and be creative and really go and express yourself and do all this advertising, marketing? Like, who feels like when they're in shame, it's super easy to be really fast and really active and in their business? Yeah? What happens when you're in shame? What happens? Unmute, tell me. Shame or fear, or when you're paralyzed from that emotion, what happens in your body? What happens in your business? Tell me. Yeah, go, Emma.
Contraction,
Mhm.
paralysis.
Yes. You
Mm.
don't want to probably even put yourself out there. You don't want to do a video. You're just going to hide in bed, right? Eat ice cream. Yeah. You want to hide. Yeah. Thank you. And when you're in joy and love and exuberance and excitement, what do you want? What do you want to do? When you're in abundance, when you're in courage, you're in confidence, you're in acceptance, neutrality, like excitement, bliss, joy. What happens? What do you want to do? What happens to your life? What happens to your creativity? What happens to your business? Yeah, unmute. Tell me. Put it in the chat. These are the emotions of your soul, your superconscious. Expansion. Does anyone want to unmute? Just tell me a few things. Share with the world. Creativity, freedom, impact. Yes. Share. Yes. So I'm going to show you guys with actual, miracles, flow. We're in expansion. We're in magnetism, right? The other one's contraction and close. I'm going to show you guys what happens with your field physically, right? When we're in a different energetic. So these are little dowsing rods. Cool. And I'm not going to move these. I'm just going to leave them, but I'm going to tune into different emotions. I'm going to be my ego and go into lack and fear and whatever. And you'll see what happens. And then I'm going to go into a higher vibration in my superconscious soul and see what happens. So when I'm in my identity of my ego, I'm going to start being like, I'm really annoyed that I haven't gone away overseas with my son. And I feel like I've like given so much to my business and I've been, doing all these trips and these things for my work, but I haven't just taken him away and I'm flipping sick of it and I'm so annoyed by it. And I feel like a shit mum when I don't do that with him. And I really want to do it. I'm so annoyed. That's fully shut and closed, right? It's contracted all the way across just because I started to tune into that frustration and that. guilt. Now, I feel so excited by the way I'm able to present this content now, and just like I want to liberate women. I want women to transform. I don't want them to be sold bullshit anymore. I don't want them to struggle. I'm so pumped and excited for what I can unleash for them. You know, that fully opened, right? It's responding to my energy. What happens in life when we're trying to do all this shit in our business, but we're in fear, we're contracted, we're closed, we don't, we say we want all this abundance, whatever, but we're shut. We're in lack. That's why I have 20 sales calls and everyone says no because I'm like this. Don't buy energetically, right? But the moment I know how to work into my soul and superconscious and I open to freedom, I open to expression, I open to joy, I'm open. And magnetically, like there were times in my business, wasn't even working. I wasn't even in my business. When I was in Egypt, I was fully expanded. I was fully connected to my soul in service to spirit, like just receiving all this. People were messaging me while I was there, like, can I work with you? I get home in 1 week, I have a $200,000 launch within 1 week of just letting people know about my program because it's just open in the magnetic field and people are drawn in. It's magnetism. Yeah? That's the key of learning about vibration and how to attract things, right? And I'm going to give you guys, because I'm aware of the time, there's more I could share about this, but I'm going to give you guys a little activity for a moment for you to actually sort of see how can you do this. So the key part of vibration and how to shift it is giving ourselves a space to tune into the truth of like, what is our ego afraid of? What are we really fearing? Like, let your ego be in the driver's seat and speak and be like, I'm scared of this worst case scenario, I'm afraid of that. I don't want this. I don't like this about my life. Like, you're going to do a truth circle and you're just going to really share what you fear, what you're worried about, what your worst case thing is, like what's keeping you up at night, what are you hating about your life right now. I just want you to, you can actually out loud do it if you want, or you can write it out. I don't mind. But you're going to do a truth circle. And it could just be like, for me, when I ran my, Gold Coast event, it could have just been like, I am really worried about losing all this money that I've invested in this. I'm worried about people not judging and thinking, you've spent $1 million on this, Miranda. This is crap. Like this isn't working anything out. This is basic stuff, whatever. Like just a fear that people are going to judge me and reject me and think that Miranda's nothing and Miranda Married's business is shit and whatever, right? This is the truth stuff that my ego's afraid of. And then we go into the love circle once we've shared that. And I'm going to give you like a song to do that, and then I'm going to shift it. And in the love circle, you go into, the possibilities. You go into like, what's my vision? What do I love? What would I like? I'm going to give you some prompts, but what do I want? What do I have? What am I so in love with in my life? What am I excited about from just in a soul point? So with my vision of the event, it's like, I'm so excited just to run this. I'm so excited to transform women. I'm so excited to give them something that I wish I had and it took me so long and I give them in a day. I'm excited to see what opens up for them. I'm excited to connect with them and have this time with you guys. Right? I want you to do a truth circle about what you're trying to create right now, your life right now, and let your ego speak. And then you're going to do a love circle and let your soul speak. Okay? Does anyone have any questions? No? We're just going to do this like briefly. I'll play one song that's going to be, for the ego, and then you just write it down or say it out loud, and then it'll be about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to shift it to something more beautiful and going to help you go into your vision. So the biggest thing when you say the truth circle is just say the truth is I'm afraid of, I don't like, I don't want. Just let your ego speak. Okay? And then I'll prompt you for the next one. All right, my loves, start to tune in to what's happening in your life now you're not loving, you don't want, all the things. And I'm going to play a song for you as you do that.
I am the wind, I am the wave, I am the sky. I am the wind, I am the flame, I am the still, free with no name. Breathe in, let go. Breathe in, let go. Breathe in, let go. You already know. No shame, no fear, no.
You may not have finished that yet, and you can continue after this, but just for now, I want you to just feel into how's that made you feel, what's happening for you, like what's it like, And then we're going to go into the vision circle, and I want you here to just let that go for now, what you just did. And I want you to go, what do I want? What would I love? What am I excited by? Okay, I'm going to put those prompts in the chat, but let's go into the vision and just spend a few minutes there and just notice what happens as well.
I used to swim against the tide, thinking power lived outside. Now I breathe and I let it in. The flow begins where I begin. I am the current, I let it go. I am the river, I let it flow. Money moves on my peace will grow. I am the source, I let it show. I am the current, I let it go, go. I am the river, I let it flow. Money moves on my peace will grow, grow. I am the source, I let it show. I thought a drop of rain, every joy removes the chain. No more fear of what I earn. I give, I live, and it return. Flow is trust, not control. Movement is wealth made whole. Every breath is silent key, unlocking everything in me. I am the current, calm and clear. Everything I need is here. No chase, no wait, I let it be. The current moves eternally. Flow to me endlessly. Flow to me endlessly. Flow to me endlessly. I am the current, I let it go. I am the river, I let it flow. Where money moves, where my peace will go. I am the source, I let it show. I am the current, I let it go. Money moves, where my let it
Beautiful. So tell me, my loves, how was that? Even just unmute, put in the chat, like just not even to say your whole piece of what you uncovered, but how did it feel going to that? What did you take away from that exercise, that experience? You can unmute and put it in the chat. We've only got a few minutes left, so let's share away.
Yeah, I thought that was well, I didn't think, I felt very emotional. The big thing that came through for my fear was that there's no point to any of this.
Yeah.
I have, yeah, that's been my biggest fear through my whole life, that feeling of meaningless.
Yeah.
And the opposite of that that came through was that every moment and every interaction has purpose.
Beautiful, huh? Love that. And that's how it felt for me too when I hadn't worked out these universal laws and how the universe works spiritually. Because that was just there's no point when it's like this is all that ever happens no matter what I'm doing, right? Or this. It did feel pointless. And it's like, why bother? Why try? Why, I might as well just give up because nothing works. It's stuck, you know? And the thing is, that's not the truth when we know how to work the universal laws. We know how to, same as like, imagine driving the car and that 3-year-old's trying to drive around. Yeah, there's no point for the 3-year-old because he doesn't know the rules. It doesn't know how to drive. It's going to crash and burn all the time, you know? But when we know and we get the adult in the car and we get that superconscious in and we know how to do the rules, we know how the universe works, we know what's required, we have that inner knowing of the next step. It's beautiful and it is purpose, right? Because it's flow, it creates flow. It doesn't have stuck and yo-yo. So yeah, thanks, Em. That's really getting to a real core heart of what the ego is feeling and like and what happens. Because when the ego is operating, it will create stuckness and yo-yo. It will be consumed by conflicts. It won't really feel like it's getting anywhere. It will go on these detours and it won't ever get to where it wants to go. It will yo-yo and sort of make it like a bit of progress and then back again because it's dictated by fear and problems and conflicts. That's what the ego does. But when we're in our superconscious and our adult is driving, it creates flow. It goes, I'm here, I want to be here. It knows the exact next step, it knows how to navigate obstacles, it knows how to move with the laws of the road, and it gets there. It has flow because it's dictated by love, and love knows. So yeah, you're very sad, disappointed when you're in the truth. I release the block shifting. This is like, I call this alchemy anchoring, this tool, and I haven't had enough time to go deep into the how and the why and all the things. Like, I'm trying to condense I'm trying to condense a 10-year journey into a 1-day event, in the magnetism code, and then now into 2 hours. And I'm trying to get $1 million worth of content and insight and wisdom into this. So I'm doing the best I can. However, we're just touching the surface of the powerful of this. But this is one of the most powerful tools that will shift your energetic if you really know how to go deep into it. It's transformational, yeah. What if what you truly want and believe seems blocked? It's not ever an outside source, hun. When you know how to unblock it from a superconscious energetic point, it never, for me, it's like, oh, I thought my ex had the power, all these outside sources, the government, jobs, clients, they had the money and the power. It wasn't about me. When I shifted what was in here, it all changed on the outside. It's never about the outside. It was hard. Yeah. When my energy changed, it was easy. Yeah. And look, the thing is, a lot of us, we don't want to look at the truth of this stuff, because it is hard, it is uncomfortable, but that is a key thing as to why we're not moving and creating as well, you know? But it's a complete different, distinct energy, isn't it? Right? So I've talked to you a lot about energetics. I've talked to you a lot about the soul and the ego. And this is those internal parts that really make a difference to whether you're manifesting and magnetizing what you desire or not. But there are also important external parts. Like this is our personal frequency, but there is actual parts of your business or your brand or that also really matter about whether, and strategies and certain actions also really matter about whether you create the brand you want, the power you want, the magnetism you want in your work as well. And personal frequency is that sort of inner expression of what's happening. And then personal brand is the outer expression. And there has to be an alignment there. And I don't know about you, but the coaching space, service space, who's here in coaching or service or that they've got a service-based business? Yeah, much of you. The last 10 years I've been in business, this last year, it's been more different than ever before. The market is completely different. Information's everywhere. Strategy, is available to everyone with AI. Audiences are skeptical. They've been burnt, hurt. We've all said it, like, by coaching and that sort of thing. So it's not the people who are like loud, that are going to make it now or that say a whole lot and do their 5 posts a day. It's when you're aligned, it's you're embodied, you're trusted, you're energetic, and your personal brand marry up. That's what creates magnetism. And it's an industry, in the service industry, that's grown 50% since 2019. There are a majority of people earning under $60,000, most people. Only 1 to 3% over 500,000, 1% are over $1 million, right? And I speak to women all the time, and they're like, I want to have 100K months and all these things. But we need to know more than ever how to be energetic masters, how to be personal brand, embody, emotional connection, identity leader. It's the whole spectrum. And our strategy is also important, but it has to be aligned to the energetic, right? Or else it won't work in this space. So I want to show you guys, as I've said to you, I've tried to bring in and help you see as much as I can in a very short time. And I wanted to help see and unlock, and we haven't gone into the creation as much as I wanted to, but I've try to help you see your identity, the frequency, and the creation piece are the 3 elements of the code that's going to unlock, your magnetism in your life and your business. And I've tried to give you a touch of it. But it feels a little bit like, I'm trying to tell you about the magnetism code, and it's like there's this little lock and it's got 3 combos. And if you just put those 3 in alignment, boom, you unlock it. That's not actually what it is. I want you to imagine it's not just one little key to unlock, your 5K or 10K month, or like there's actually a massive vault. I want you to imagine this big vault and this bank, right? And I'm going to want to teach you how to be a locksmith and how to actually unlock any lock you ever possibly can. I don't want to just give you 3 codes and boom, you now unlock one thing. I want you to be the locksmith that can go to any lock you've ever seen, any block in your life, anything in your business, anything with clients, and know the secret to alchemy, know the secret to magnetism, know the secret to the superconscious. So you know what to tweak here, tweak here, tweak it, and boom, you can unlock the abundance and get into the bank of all that you desire. Who would love to go into like the bank of like abundance, everywhere? Let's break into some banks. I'm not going to actually teach that, but you know what I mean? Like unlock that level of that abundance. I don't want to just teach you like this one little strategy. I want to teach you the key code to unlock all of your blocks. And as a part of that, I have created something called the Magnetism Experience. And it's a 3-day experience where it's happening in July. But in this, we're going to spend a whole day. We've going to spend 2 hours, but we're going to spend a whole day on your superconscious. I'm going to give you the key codes to how to unlock and unleash the superconscious within you, so you know how to unblock any block. You know how to do any reading to move that energy and shift that energy and get you back into your heart and soul and not being overpowered by the ego. And I'm giving you the actual tools to do what I've learned out of the $1 million I've spent in the 6 years in the superconscious work. You're also going to learn how to do the energetic shifting and the deeper tool to shift your energy from that fear and that paralysis into your power. And not just that, we're going to get super practical, because I do think action and strategy, and I'm very balanced and embodied and bridging in that. We're actually going to help you unleash that next level woman and your personal brand out in the world. I'm going to actually get you to do a photo shoot, and you're going to embody that energy and bring her out. I'm going to show you guys, hang on, is this the photo? Yeah, here. I'm going to show you guys the power of this, right? And you'll see it with your own eyes. This was the last photo shoot that I did. I want you to see this level of embodiment, or this level of expression of what I'm trying to emit through my personal frequency, but also my body, versus that was my first photo shoot on the left. And then that's the last one I did. When we know how to move magnetism and we know how to move energy, we know how to communicate what we want to do, there's a whole nother level of our personal brand that can be unleashed. That's just another friend that I took those photos of as well. But I want to actually practically support you in that, not just do all this energetic work. And, I want to actually get you unlocked physically, practically. And on the last day, we're actually going to get you do full creation pieces to move abundance in your business, to actually take big actions, big courageous steps and leaps that are going to make you take that one action and have the 10K month or the 20 or something, versus 50 actions in 50 hours and not getting anywhere. I'm going to help you know the key things that are going to matter and move the needle the most, and that your energetics now in alignment for, so that within the time just after our, even on that day, you're bringing and manifesting in 10K, 20K, whatever, 50. So many of my clients have had so many of these experiences, right, where that's happened for them. And in this, you're going to unlock a true level and your true identity of your power. You're going to know how to become magnetic inside and out. And you're going to actually create, most of you, like 5 times the ROI that you invest in the 3 days on the other side. I had a client recently just come and do the super conscious component, not the other component of the work. And she made $20,000 within the first week of accessing the super conscious that we did. And she was stuck for quite a while before that, within just a few days. I'm just going to show you guys just a couple of other people and we're going to wrap up in a moment. But I just want to, again, help you see it's not just Miranda. It's actually something that a lot of people create. So Anna, when she did this work and this superconscious alchemy work I'm teaching here, she was making 7 figures, but with ease and less work. She was actually used to do 6 days a week, went down to 2 days a week, and she could have more time with herself and her family. Lauren made $25,000 within the first month of this superconscious work, 100K of sales within 3 months. But she had actually only made a zero before, the whole year before, because she was doing all the strategy stuff without it. Alexis, $16,000 in 24 hours after it, 80,000 in 3 months. But she'd only done 16,000 for the whole year before that. Sasha made 20K consistently after 3 months in the work. And she'd done 6 months of $0 and 2 years of barely anything, right? That's just the physical business impacts that the superconscious has. I could tell you a bunch of other stories of people who have unlocked a level of beautiful connection to their family, health that they'd never had and they'd struggled with it their whole time, like oracle decks, cards, creativity explosion out of nowhere, like retreats full. It's just constant. And I don't have enough time to tell you all the stories, but there's so many. So if I would love to know if you would like the info and you feel like you would love to tune in to see whether the magnetism experience and actually embodying this energy, but actually activating it in your strategy and your business and life and making it super practical as well, put a yes in the chat if you would like to explore more about this or get more info about this. The way that I work with this is just one way that I do this with business. There's a whole lot of other ways that I work as well with my clients in this way. I've got different programs, but I can't tell you about all of them. We don't have enough time. But the way that I work with this is that you come and if you're interested in info, is you come and have a connected call with my team. I've got India and Ali. They're intuitively led, heart-led women. And if you're interested in info, I'm not more into I'll just send you this random stuff. You can check it out. I want you to have a real person, have a conversation with you, have a tune in with you, do a vision and do an intuitive vision work with you, do a current reality and see what the core blocks are and see what your gaps are. And then we go and see whether this is aligned or not. And you can actually see whether more info about this and whether this is your next step. Or if not, we tell you what else is. Because I'm not here to just manipulate and sell and I'm not here for the ego. I'm not here for what a lot of other coaches do and just to tell you, yeah, you need this. We only ever align if it's aligned and it is your next step. And if not, we tell you what else is. I just want to be here to serve you, ladies. So I'm going to pop the link in here if you would like a call with them to receive that sort of magnetism audit and to see whether this is aligned or what we could suggest as a next step. I'm going to give you a minute, 2 minutes just to book that in if you are feeling the call. If you're feeling any energetic connection to this or you resonate, just book to explore it, right? I would love to serve you in that way if it's aligning. And if not, we'll tell you what else. So do have a look at that and book. I'm going to play a song. And while you're booking as well, I would love you to tune in. We just got another 2 minutes or so to what it is that you got the most out of today while you're booking in that as well. I'll give you a song while you're doing it. And if you can put in the chat, what's your key takeaway? What's the core piece? I'd love to hear while you're doing that.
I rise in clarity. I rise in my true flow. I am a field open.
The dates are
I feel new space awakening within me. Old patterns drip from my center within. Every step moves me deeper into balance. Every moment expands my field of trust. I feel my energy brighter. I feel my rhythm alive. The creation moving through now. Love the way you I reach over the top. I reach over the love.
I'm just trying to find the dates for you, hun. There is like other dates later in the year as well. And if people can only come to, some of the day or this or that, we can work it out. But it is the 17th of July to the 19th, the next one. We have later ones. But also there are some other pieces of this work that I do. Like there's another program that's a one just from business. Hang on, why am I? More for business and unlocking, that through a 3-month container. There's another one that's 12-month one. So we do the tune in and see what's best fit as well with the key questions. But there are, ones in July, there's ones in October, there's some others. Beautiful. Oh, awesome, Vanessa. So what do we got here? The key piece is that you are going through an amazing transformation. Oh, thanks. What is it for you though, my love? What's your key takeaway? I'd love to hear. And you guys can unmute as well while you're doing all that. If you want to unmute and share with me, what's your key takeaway? Put it in the chat. I'd love to hear what's resonated. The frequency piece, to not force, but to surrender and allow. Yes, love that, Vanessa. If anyone wants to unmute, they can. Tell me. I'm not going to bite.
For me, I mean, I do know the power of, operating from fear versus love and shifting that energy. But yeah, to do that exercise of writing from fear and then moving it, that was really powerful. It's not something I've done before. So thank you.
Yeah, I love that. You love that, hun. It is really powerful to shift it. And yeah, when we go into that super conscious layer with it, it's even more, And that's why I say, yeah, the other day, I was doing those practices even for my event, and then only when I was really able to super consciously unhook and unhinge, did it really shift as well. So I'm glad that you laughed at that. It's super, super powerful. I learned to trust my intuitive guidance more. Love that, Janie. How about you, Cecilia, Philippa, Melissa? Summer is for chillin'. Joe, Abby, Suki, Tracy. Yeah, go for it, hun.
I found it truly amazing. Coming off the back of an overnight ashram and then coming into this was just so took me right into my heart space.
Beautiful.
And I felt like I was a phoenix rising from the ashes.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, you're tuning into the energetic piece a lot more as well, because there's a lot of what I'm sharing and I'm saying all these words and, but there is a real energetic, if you can receive that can be really transformative. So thank you for being so open as well, hun. And yeah, Phoenix Rising, so powerful. Glad that you feel that. Yes, my love, Melissa and Philippa.
I just wanted to share that I saw a real correlation between going into like the fears and the blocks and then into the vision, that maybe things I perceive as blocks that need to be worked through. When I was in that open space of the vision, it's like, no, once that flows there and the energy is open, it's actually all just coming through. It's not the issue that I think it is. And that was a bit of an epiphany for me.
Yeah. Honestly, like, and this is the crazy thing. Like, I think universe plays with this, right? I had spent those 4 years, like, and I have so many stories of this. I wish I could tell you the whole stories of all of it because it is so much insight. But 4 years of working so hustling my business, doing every fucking thing, being told how to do it perfect. How, no, no, you must do this landing page, that, all this bullshit, right? I learn about this energy work. I learn a bit about the spiritual laws, and I go, stuff the strategy. I'm going to sit there and meditate. This is my first thing, right? And I'm like, I'm going to meditate every day. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to meditate. I'm just going to work on my energy. I'm just going to work on opening up my field, right? And tuning into the abundance and focus on a 10K month. Now, I didn't have any clue how I was going to do that because I did not do anything in my business other than meditate, right? This is after 4 years of trying to make 10K and never having it. And then I um, meditate, and the only thing I did is if people messaged me, I would take a sale call if they asked me for one. And I was usually begging people to get on calls with me and said no. And this was, so meditating, a couple of people reach out and say they want to have a sale call with me. A person who told 2 months ago had said no, came back, whatever, right? So I took the calls. Now, the last phone call on the last day clicked me over $10,000 that month. After 4 years of working and doing every fucking thing to, like, I meditate, I get my energy right, I don't do anything else, and boom, I have it. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to teach you guys how to just sit there meditating and navel gazing, right? Like, it's like, I say to I want my husband's like walk through the door, like, like, yeah, plumber might come, but like, there's a lot more likelihood if I'm out in the world and doing things about it as well, right? I'm here to help you act, but it has to come from alignment and energetic alignment. Or it's just closed. It has to be both, right? But yeah, look at the change that happens when we do that. And as you said, the energetic side, huh? Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Did you have anything else to say too? Yeah, you go. Let's go, Philippa. Melissa, do you want to say?
Yeah, sure. I it's very interesting. I actually help people with the strategy and the practical side of a very feminine spiritual business approach.
Yeah.
Never called it that, but I mean it is effectively what I do. And it's so interesting because I've known in my heart or I felt in my heart that that's just the right way because I don't feel good seeing any human, let alone any woman, try to force herself into a thing because I see the contraction viscerally in their system.
Mm.
And so, but it's fascinating because I haven't applied it in full to myself. I have like been very organically and synchronistically having a business for the last 20 years, but right now I want to like expand my impact and expand like everything. And in the expansion, I've been unconsciously believing I need to do it in the ways that I've seen other people do it instead of just tuning into like what feels really good. And so
Yeah.
hearing you say that actually we all carry this, like to hear you say exactly what I believe,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
but and connecting how that when we do that, when we tune in, when we listen, when we trust, when we abide and honor that, that it actually, I think you said it emanates out to the universe, a
Mm.
frequency of unconditional love. Like we're
Yeah.
unconditionally loved ourselves
Yeah.
and offering that. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you just connected these dots for me in my
Yeah.
work,
I
in
love that, huh?
frequency and in
Yeah.
actions. And
And
yeah, really.
we didn't get to go into the creation code as much as I wanted because again, I was trying to do as much as I could in a short time. But there is an element where there are some smarter ways to do it or strategies or, but again, it has to be linked to our soul and it has to come from that energetic and only then will that work. And even with that, there's a whole lot of freedom about there's just sort of some principles and some structures that are smarter, but it has to come from our essence so I really see myself as that bridge because I've gone into the strategy world, I've gone into the healing, counseling, like deep embodiment, emotional world. I've gone into the manifesting, superconscious, up high, ether. I've gone to the depth and dark. Like I've been everywhere, and I sort of see that I create this cauldron now for women to do all of that. Because when I went to one place, or they all counteracted and contradicted each other. The strategy people were saying this, the superconscious that, and the embodiment that, and I was pulling everywhere. And it's like now it's like no, no, no. There's actually a union of all of it. And a lot of the time we go into the feminine and then we like cut off all the structures in our business and then we're all aloof and lost, like cool, it's magical, but we don't know what the heck we're doing every day. And it's constantly like hustle in the spiritual realm to get, so yeah, what I'm seeing from you in that, hun, is like, and there's this real unique magic of how does this all work together, in this real beautiful, balanced way. So, but yeah, amazing you're doing that out in the world as well, hun. So yeah, no worries. Thanks, Joe. Thank you, everyone. We did go a bit over. I have to go get my son now as well, but lots of love. Please message me if you have any, thoughts, comments, if you have any questions that came up or that you wanted to ask about magnetism, or the other work that I do. When you're doing the call, you're just there to explore the work and see if there's alignment or what the next step would be as well. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your hearts and love. I love you ladies lots. It's been beautiful to connect. And yeah, have a beautiful rest of your day. Amazing. Ciao, ciao, my loves. Bye.